Imagine building a billion-dollar company when the whole world going through a crisis and only to have one of the biggest cities in the world to try you shut you down. That's what exactly happened to Airbnb. Let's explore its journey and its legal battle with the New York City. Now let's talk about the birth of Airbnb. In October 2007, Brian Casey and Gio Gibbia was two cash-strapped roommates living in San Francisco. Both were struggling to make rent in an expensive city. Around the same time, they discovered that a major design conference was coming to town and nearly all the hotels in the city were fully booked. That's when inspiration struck. What if they offered their living rooms as the alternative of traditional hotels? They bought the three air mattresses, set them up in their apartment, and advertised the space as air, bread, and breakfast. For $80 a night, guests could sleep on an air mattresses, have breakfast in the morning, and experience the city through eye of a local. It was a simple, unconventional idea, but it solved a real problem for the travelers. It was time to convert their a simple idea into a business. Encouraged by the initial responses, Brain and Joy decided to turn their idea into a business. They enlisted Nathan, a former roommate and a software engineer, to join them as their third co-founder. Together, they built the first version of Airbnb website, launching it in August 2008. Yes, 2008 August was the official time when Airbnb was officially listed on internet, and the time was perfect. The Democratic National Convention in Denver that the year brought tens of thousands of people to the city, and the hotel rooms were in short supply. The founder marketed Airbnb as a solution, and while their site attracted some interest, it didn't take off immediately. What do you think? How big this idea could be? In 2011, Airbnb has done 1 million bookings, and in just 5 months, they have doubled it and done 10 million bookings. In 2013, 250,000 new properties were added on Airbnb, and in 2015, Airbnb was legalized in several major tourist destinations of the world. Today, Airbnb operates in more than 220 countries and has transformed travel and hospitality industry totally. But it sounds like a success story without struggle, but it's not. Not everyone was happy with Airbnb's success, especially some government and hotel chains. Now, it was time for a legal war for Airbnb. Airbnb versus the New York City. The New York City claimed that the short-term rentals were driving up rental prices and reducing housing availability, and thirdly, creating illegal rentals. And the people of New York were concerned about their privacy, as every other day their neighbors were changing rapidly due to this short-term rental industry. And they were right, their privacy was destroyed by this. And in 2013, the New York City passed a local law 18, which requires all the short-term rentals hosts must be registered with the city. Secondly, the host should be physically present during the stay. That was a concern of people of New York, that the people are buying housing property and using them for a commercial use and renting them without staying in that. And thirdly, Airbnb must verify listing before the collecting any fee from the host. And what was the response of Airbnb on that? They took NYC to court and argued that the law was a de facto ban on their business, and it violates the privacy by demanding too much personal information of the host and the guest. And it was too complicated for Airbnb to track all the registrations, and last, they would lose 95% of their New York City revenue due to this rule. Now, it was a time for a decision by the court. On August 8th, 2023, the Supreme Court of New York ruled against Airbnb, stating that New York City rules were fair and reasonable to regulate the rentals. Secondly, Airbnb must comply with the verification system. And third, the law does not violate any previous agreement Airbnb had with NYC. And the result of it? Thousands of unregistered Airbnb listings were removed and completely changing the short-term rental landscape in New York City. That wasn't like a nightmare for Airbnb. After losing the battle with NYC, Airbnb had to adjust its strategy to keep its business running smoothly. Here what they did. First, local host club, community support for hosts. Imagine you are a small business owner and suddenly the government changes the rule, making it harder for you to operate. You did want guidance, right? What did Airbnb do? They created a local host club where Airbnb hosts could connect, share experiences, and learn from each other. They think of it like a WhatsApp group for Airbnb hosts where they can discuss issues, ask questions, and get guidance. Airbnb also held a local meetup workshops to help hosts understand the new laws and improve their hospitality skills. Why this matters? Hosts, especially those affected by NYC law, needed support and situation solution to keep earning through Airbnb. Secondly, the Airbnb cover, protecting hosts from financial losses. What if you rented out the apartment and the guest damaged your furniture or left huge mess? Who would pay for that? What Airbnb did? They introduced a Airbnb cover and insurance like program for that offers protection for damage if guest breaks something, Airbnb pay for the repair. Pet damage covered if the guest pet scratched furniture or caused damage, host didn't have to worry. Deep cleaning cost. If the host left the place extremely dirty, Airbnb helped cover the cleaning cost. Income loss coverage. If the booking is cancelled unexpectedly due to the property damage, Airbnb compensate the host. Why this matters? Many hosts were scared for renting their home to a stranger. This cover gave them a peace of mind, making them feel safe about the continuing their Airbnb business. Third, host review and traveler safety measure. Would you feel safe staying at a stranger's house without knowing is it reliable? Probably not. To make the platform safe and more trustworthy, they introduced stricter guest and host verification with their ID, phone number, and other details were required to book a stay. Second, detailed guest questionnaire. The traveler had to answer questions to prove they were reliable. Third, host visit and safety check. Airbnb started personally inspecting some properties to ensure quality and safety. This helped both traveler and host feel more secure. Trust is everything in a business like Airbnb, so their steps were crucial for survival. Did this law really make a difference? Let's see how it's changed things for Airbnb and travel industry. First, Airbnb listings dropped significantly. Since many hosts didn't register under the new NYC law, thousands of Airbnb listings was disappeared overnight. Fewer listings meant higher prices for remaining properties, making short-term rentals less attractive for budget travelers. Imagine this: you have 10,000 hotel rooms in a city and suddenly 5,000 disappears. What happens? The remaining rooms were become expensive. That's exactly what happened with Airbnb rentals. Secondly, more cities might follow NYC law example. New York City set a precedent, but what if other cities start doing the same? NYC's strict rental laws became a blueprint for other cities facing the similar problems. Cities like Paris and other already had regulations and many others are considering similar rules. Government saw how NYC controlled Airbnb and now they might tighten their laws too. For Airbnb, this means more legal battles ahead and a possible shift in how they operate globally. The big debate started here. Should government regulate the short-term rentals or should people have the freedom to rent out their homes as they want? The big question is New York City protecting rentals or just making things harder for homeowners and tourists? This debate is still going on. Now let's see how this incident impacted Airbnb financially. In the last quarter of 2023, Airbnb has done revenue of $2.2 billion. That was with the growth rate of 17% from the previous year. That was a great growth. Despite legal battles, Airbnb proved that even the toughest challenges can be turned into opportunities. And let's see what we can learn from Airbnb and this incident. Now, first, crisis leads to innovation. Airbnb adapted by improving host protections and many other facilities was given to the host and guest. This shows how Airbnb changes and grab the opportunity in the market. Second, market research is key. Understanding legal risk is crucial for startups. Third, regulations can shape industries. Business models must be flexible to get into the new environment and legal laws by the government. Now, what do you think about this incident and what do you think? Should government regulate Airbnb or should people have the freedom to rent out their home as they wish? Let me know in the comments.